Ready to dominate at the plate? Blast Baseball is trusted by more major league and college teams than any other hitting solution. The Blast sensor attaches to the knob of any bat, providing real-time feedback with every swing. Go to blastmotion.com and enter code NOWD1 at checkout to save $25. All right, everybody, it is 9 o'clock. Let's get right into it. We do this show every Monday through Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern on X Spaces. I'm Alan Gay, and this is Now D1 Speaks. We got a great show tonight. We have got the head coach, Jeff Kilgore from Emmanuel University in Georgia with us. It's a great D2 program. Hey, Coach Kilgore, are you there?
Yes, Alan, I'm here.
Hey, man, fantastic. Thank you so much for taking a little bit of time to speak with us this evening. Why don't you kind of kick it off for us? Just give us a little bit of background of, man, where did you play baseball in high school and college? What positions did you play? And just ultimately, what led you into coaching?
Okay, yeah. First off, I'm honored to be on here. Just appreciate the opportunity to speak with you about our program and what we have going on. But yeah, I'm probably like everyone. I started playing baseball when I was probably able to walk. Like, it's been a long journey, but I played baseball in high school at Johnson High School in Gainesville, Georgia. And then after that concluded, took an opportunity at Emmanuel College, which is now Emmanuel University, to play. And I played there for 4 years as an infielder. I played all the infield positions, second, short, and third while I was at Emmanuel. Had an opportunity to have a little bit of versatility around the infield, and then was able to hit and lead our team in some offensive categories while I was there. And then once I finished, I actually went and my family is in some construction business and went and did that for a little while. And there was just a burning desire to be back on the field, and I wasn't going to be able to play. So, just took an opportunity to kind of get my feet wet and get into the coaching game. And it just stuck. I just loved the opportunity to work with these kids and to share some of my insights and the things that I had learned. And then what I didn't know was that they would be teaching me as well. So, just had a great opportunity for several different programs to kind of get my feet in the ground and have opportunities to work with a variety of young men throughout the years. So it's been a wild journey, and hopefully there's still a lot more that's on the back end that we can enjoy and learn from. So.
Hey, thank you so much for that background. And my understanding is you've been the head coach at Emmanuel University for the last 11 years. Could you kind of just talk to us a little bit? Where were the other coaching stops previous?
Yeah, so I was at Emmanuel under Aaron Brister for 2 years as a graduate assistant. I was going to school at North Georgia and then helping him here. And then I was able to take an opportunity to go and coach under my high school assistant coach, Pete Allen at West Hall High School for a year. So I've had some high school experience. And then the coach at ABAC, Steve Janowski, was kind enough to give me an opportunity as a very green coach to come down to ABAC in Tifton, Georgia, and work down there. I was there for 3 years, 2 as an assistant. And 1 as my final year there, I was actually the head coach down there. So that was my first head coaching experience. And what a whirlwind that was. But, here we are back at Emmanuel and 11 years in and, doing some really good things and building some great relationships with a lot of people. So, it's been a really exciting adventure, lots of challenges along the way, but a lot of really good memories to go with those.
I bet, man. So you're still super young.
I don't know if I'd say that.
These last 11 years have aged you just a little bit.
Yeah, they have.
I love it. So let me talk to you about your playing career and how that kind of led into maybe some of your coaching philosophies. Because you sound like a pretty humble guy. I think you really had a fantastic collegiate career where you were all conference, all region. I think you really, really had a big time career while you were at Emmanuel. How has your ability to play and what you knew as a player, how's that really transitioned over into your coaching style today?
Yeah, so I did have some success in high school. I had some success while I was here at Emmanuel offensively, and so the biggest thing that I think, and I tell my younger coaches that come and coach under me, is the transition between knowing what you did as a player and then understanding what your players are capable of was the biggest challenge that I ever faced. The way that I did things, it's not that kids aren't coachable. It may be that they just lack the ability, or maybe they have more ability, and I'm teaching it in a too elementary way. So to be able to use my experiences to be able to take some of the things that coaches showed me and taught me along the way. I mean, I had a great travel ball coach when I was in high school, very knowledgeable man, Jim Carter. Played for him for 2 years, and being able to be around some good coaches and be around good coaching in general, has really helped to relay the information that I have in my mind to these guys and to put it into practical use on the field. But I think the biggest thing that we as a staff try to do, and I actually heard it, I don't know, maybe a week or two ago, and we've been talking about it in our office, is they don't care about how much that you know until they know how much you care. That's really hit with us because we're a big relationship staff. We want to get to know our kids and pour into them as baseball players, but as young men too. And I think that really hit home with us is, hey, they don't care what you know if they don't know that you care about them, and that's been really big for us, and being able to give them the information that we have, but know that we're doing it in love and have their best interests at heart.
Man, that's big time stuff right there, Coach. I got to tell you, I really can appreciate that last statement big time. And I've got to think, really, over the last 11 years for Emmanuel University, you have absolutely seen a lot of progress, a ton of improvement. And I'm just kind of thinking along, maybe not necessarily that last statement, which is so true, but I'm just kind of thinking, what real principles or key strategies would you attribute that continued growth and success in your program to?
I think hard work. I mean, we've got a lot of challenges here. Every place has its own set of challenges, and we've identified what those are for us, and we've tried to figure out ways to work around them. Create different things that we can take advantage of that we do have that are positives, and we've got a large group of guys, but we're fortunate to have a lot of space, to be able to do some of these things and to work with guys and get kind of down and dirty. I've got a large coaching staff, which allows us a lot of more individual time to work with these guys in their positions, and very knowledgeable staff, good group of guys. And, it just gives us an opportunity to put a lot of eyes on people to watch to make sure that we're not missing something. And I think that accountability has really helped to move us forward.
It's fantastic. You kind of mentioned like a large group of guys. Do you offer a JV program as well?
We do. Yeah, we have a development team, and we've had a large number of guys who have come in. They've worked really hard and they've made a jump. I mean, last year, our closer for 5 years actually came in as a development team shortstop. And he was struggling offensively, struggled a little bit defensively. And he said, "Coach, I can pitch a little bit." And we're like, "All right, let's see it." And the rest is history. He was actually on the mound for us in our final tournament game his freshman year. We trusted him enough to have the ball at the biggest moment in our season. And it didn't work out exactly like we had planned, but that's baseball. But he moved his way up really quick. And, we have a 1A and a 1B behind the plate. Both of our guys are more than capable behind the plate. And one of those was, he came in as a development team player, just made a huge impression right off the bat. And now here he is as a junior. And, man, he's just done a great job. So, there's story after story of those guys who've come in. And the key is hard work, Alan. Like if they're not willing to put in the work, baseball's not going to give it to them.
I love those success stories. That is absolutely awesome. One other thing that you kind of mentioned, and definitely don't want to put you on the spot, but you said, hey, you've got some challenges. The program has some challenges, as all programs do. Anything in particular that you like to talk about and maybe ways you've overcome it?
We don't. I think our biggest challenge is we don't have an indoor facility. And so when we get some weather, it creates some challenges for. We have a natural surface. We don't have turf, which when I was younger, I was like, I got to have natural surface. I don't want a turf field. But now as I get older, and the maintenance of a turf field just sounds that just sounds like heaven to me. But yeah, that's, I love the dirt and I love the grass, and but when you get some weather, that can create some issues. But we have some things in the works where we're getting closer and closer to covering our cages and bullpen mound facility that we have. And so I feel like in the next 2 years, we will have eliminated that challenge that we have. But right now, I think that's our biggest obstacle.
Hey, everyone that's joining this evening, thank you so much for being here. We absolutely appreciate it. Thank you for the support of Now D1, and thank you for the support of Coach Jeff Kilgore as well. If you did get in late, don't worry about it. We record this space, and we'll be able to retweet it out in its entirety, and you can hear it then. So this evening, we're with Emmanuel University head baseball coach Jeff Kilgore. Absolutely very appreciative of him and his time, just spending a little bit of that time with us. So, Coach, let me kind of ask you, this is an interesting dynamic, I have to believe, for coaches, especially in baseball. I mean, you work individually with position players, whatever position, and then you work individually with hitters as well. Yet somehow you have to kind of bring that individual effort into a team effort. How do you combine that? How do you make that work?
Lots of hours of practice. So we're very, like I said before, we're very fortunate. We have a lot of space. And so one of the things that I noticed as a player is when we were doing our work positionally, especially hitting, pitchers would be doing their work somewhere on a foul line, and they were constantly dodging baseballs. It was, they'd throw a pitch and then they had to watch out for a line drive coming at them. Well, we're fortunate. We have our pitchers in their own area. They have a 4-way mound that's down there. They can do PFPs. They can do all of their dry work. They can do their bullpen work down there. And so we're almost separated, pitchers and position players. And so the toughest dynamic that we have is bringing those guys together and getting them to understand that we're all pulling for the same goal. So what we try to do with that is when we do inter squads, even guys that aren't going to throw that day, we're going to put them on a team, and get them to cheer for their team and be there for their teammates and do those types of things to where we try to build that, I guess, brotherhood, for lack of a better term. But I think a lot of that, because of our living situations that we have in our dormitories, most of our players live on campus. And I think that they nurture that on their own, a little organically in their living space. They hang out with each other. They're here with each other. I mean, Franklin Springs is not a booming metropolis, so kind of what they have is each other in baseball. So I think that the off the field environment here helps to breed a better team chemistry, a better cohesiveness with our players on the field.
Hey, that makes all the sense in the world. I appreciate that. What's approximately the enrollment?
This year we have about between 930 and 950.
Okay, that's fantastic. So, yeah. but predominantly they are all in dorms, they're on campus living.
Yeah, I think that we have, I bet it's probably 10% of our roster that lives off campus, and 2 of those guys are from Franklin County, so they literally live 10 minutes away. It just doesn't make sense for them to stay in the dorm.
Absolutely, I got you 100%. Okay, thank you. So, as you know, our core audience is really uncommitted high school baseball prospects. And I know they're very interested in some of the day-to-day and some of the training techniques, And so with that in mind, just kind of share with us a little bit of your training methods and philosophy and so forth to really help players be successful once they get to the next level.
Okay, yeah. So what we try to do is, and it makes our day as coaches really long, which is fine. This is what we signed up for. But we try to break them down into as small groups as possible so that when they're out here, they're getting something done. There's not a lot of standing around. I just hate idle time. And I kind of look back on my academic career and I kind of equate it to like a substitute teacher. When we'd have a sub, they'd always have busy work, and I never felt like I got anywhere. And, throughout some practices that I've observed through my career, to see guys standing around just to meet time quotas, and that's never been my thing. And we want guys to be invigorated. We want guys to be hungry when they come to practice and know, hey, I'm going to be here and I'm going to get my work done, and then I'm going to be able to go and take care of my academics or my social life or the other things that they have going on. And so, we'll break them down into smaller groups. It allows us to be more focused on a specific individual if need be that day. But we try to get in some aspect of all the areas daily. There may be, just for example, 2 days ago we had 95% an offensive day where we just hit and hit and hit, but they were still doing some of their pre-practice daily work with if it's an infielder or a catcher or outfielder or whatever. They were still doing some of their daily work for that day defensively. And then, we jumped right into an offense heavy day, and then we have defensive heavy days and things to where, where the main focus is defending the baseball. And even on those days, we may do bunting where they're working on their bunting or what have you, but we're still going to throw some type of offense where they got to stand in the box into that day, just to make sure that every day we hit on some area, because you got to have we tell our guys, you got to have a lot of tools in your bag, and you're going to have to win games a lot of different ways if you want to be successful. I think we'd all love to stand in the box and just blast balls over the fence, but that's just not a reality. So we try to get a lot of different things, but like I said, I've got a great coaching staff. We have a large number of guys that are here that are knowledgeable, and we can view a lot of different things around the field and help a lot of guys out at the same time.
I'm just thinking back over really your career and your experience at Emmanuel University from your playing days and having a successful playing days to your coaching career, and having a very successful coaching career as well. I mean, you guys have won in the postseason, the NCAA tournament. You guys have got victories in the postseason. And I was thinking, I really kind of wanted you to elaborate a little bit on culture and mindset. And I think this may go along with it, but I think the real question I'd like to ask you, and I know that, again, our core audience, they would absolutely want to know, it's why Emmanuel University? When you have an opportunity to talk to the right kid, the right family, the right fit, why should they go to Emmanuel University?
Yeah, and it's funny that you say the right fit, because so often we hear, we talk to guys and say, what are you looking for? And so I'm just looking for the right fit. But then when you dig a little bit deeper and you ask them what that is, they a lot of times they don't know, because they've just never thought past college baseball. Like, that's the right fit is college baseball. And so, if for us, we have to find kids that are looking for a smaller campus community, that are looking for smaller class sizes. We have, in our core classes, they're going to be in a class with 25 to 35 students, and the teacher's going to know who they are, and they're going to know if they're present or not present, and they're going to let me know if they're present or not present. Those types of things. We are a small town, but we have access to Athens and Anderson, and Atlanta's only an hour away, so we have to find kids that's a good fit for them. But when we break it down to the absolute bare bones for what we look at for our program, it's all about relationship. It's about the senior who's coming across the stage on the last day. We actually do a senior dinner for our guys, instead of the traditional in between games ceremony I've always felt was just kind of thrown together. But at that senior dinner, the emotions that you feel when you're bringing a guy up there who's been there for 4 years, that's why Emmanuel. That's why Emmanuel University baseball is, because it's hard to see those kids and their parents come up there and know that they're on their way out to go make an impact in the world, and they're not going to be there with you next fall. We could have all the bells and whistles, and we got some of those. We have TrackMan and this technology and that technology, and we could have a turf field, and we could have a huge stadium and $1 million locker room. But at the end of the day, what makes our program special is that we're invested in these kids. I was telling you earlier, the closer that we had, we're fortunate he's on staff now. He's volunteering while he's trying to figure out what direction he wants to go with his coaching career or whatnot. But very fortunate he's back with us. But when he walked up there with his parents, that was hard, man. And it's because of not the baseball investment. The baseball investment is irrelevant at that point. It's the personal investment. Getting to know him, and Tyler has been phenomenal. He's a great young man, and like I said, we're fortunate that he's back with us, so we get to spend some time with him some more. But if we had to break it down to the absolute meat of what this thing is. It's the relationship, and I think that's something that our coaching staff doesn't take lightly. We understand that these kids are invested in our program, and we do our best to invest in them daily.
Man, what a great answer. And it's not just an answer. What a great lifestyle. I mean, you guys are absolutely invested in that. Fantastic culture. And that truly is what it's all about. The relationships and developing young men really to go out into the world and be prosperous, and
Right.
not just financially. I mean, prosperous in life and just do well. That's big time stuff, Coach Kilgore. I love that. Hey, again, everyone that's joining this evening, thank you so much for being here. Absolutely appreciate your support. I mentioned earlier that we record this space so that we can retweet it out. We also record it because we turn it into a podcast, and that podcast is now D1 Speaks. Again, our core audience is really uncommitted baseball prospects as well as college coaches. It's a great environment. It gives an opportunity for the prospect to let a coach know who they are, what their makeup is all about when they're not on the field, how they treat their coaches, their family, the types of classes they take, what their GPA is, what they do in the weight room, what their aspirations are in life, what they like to major in. And it just gives coaches that sense this is a potential young man that could absolutely take care of his business off the field so that we can concentrate on winning baseball on the field. And then it gives college coaches an opportunity to really talk about their baseball program and what they're all about and what they've done in the past and what they're currently doing and really what the future holds. So I think it's a good environment to put the two together. If you're interested in hearing more about what it is that we do, I hope you'll go out and find us. Again, it's now D1 Speaks. Hey, let's kind of stay on the recruiting piece. I think that's a big thing there, Coach Kilgore. And I love that was such a great answer. Why Emmanuel University? Well, if there's a kid that's out there and they want to know more about Emmanuel University and they think they're a good fit, what's the best way that they can get on your radar?
Yeah, so we've got to be in a small school. We've got to turn over every rock and look under every bush, and we've got to do a lot of different things to try and identify prospects. And we've found that there's no way that is better than really any other. We've had a variety of guys from a variety of different sources. And so we just try to make sure that we do the best that we can to cover our area, to make contacts, to meet people, to get out on the road. I mean, the brand identification was huge for us from the beginning, to know, hey, when we call a kid, is he even going to know who we are? And even kids that are 2 hours away had never heard of our school. And I think we've kind of being out, being seen and talking and marketing what we're doing here has really helped that. But yeah, there are some tournaments that we used to go to that we don't because they've just gotten so big and so spread out that it's not a good use of our time. And time is a valuable resource, as you know. But yeah, we go to camps. We have a thing on our website that they can fill out, just a little questionnaire that we have. Personal emails are those are really good, but it can't be the stock, the email that you send out to 400 coaches. We're not going to really dig into that one a whole lot. But I tell you what, Alan, the biggest thing that we've done is about 6 years ago, we really started to pour in our resources into the prospect camp that we do. And there's a lot of experience on our staff. And we sat down and we said, what do we like when we go to camp and what do we not like? And we tried to incorporate everything that we like, everything that we feel like players and parents want to see, and eliminate the stuff that nobody liked, that nobody wanted at a camp. And we've had a lot of success with that, not only having some talented kids on campus, but getting our name out there. And then we've gotten numerous kids from our camp that have made a huge impact in our program. And so that's been really, really good for us. Unfortunately, it's been good for some of our competitors too. They come to the event and, they're able to get some of those talented kids over us. And, that's just part of recruiting. But, it's been a really, really, really good event for us. And I would venture to say that probably 30% of our roster is made up of players who came to our prospect camp.
Man, that's fantastic. Thank you for walking through all of that. With the camps, what's the best way for somebody to find out about the camp and to kind of get on the list, so to speak, to receive an invitation?
Yeah, so ours is open. Just because there's so many talented kids in the Southeast, we struggle to get an eye on everybody when we're out, and so we open it up to just about any high school player, and the we have some information on our website, and we put stuff out on social media about it. We contact a lot of coaches, and hey, if you have any prospects, this might be a good opportunity for them. But when you're looking at camps, I just think you got to talk to people and talk to people who've been to the camp before. Ask their experience. Do you feel like you got what you signed up for? And we've had a lot of positive feedback on what we do here, and I think if you talk to people who've been to our camp, they've enjoyed it, and they may not have had the performance that they had hoped for, but they got what they had signed up for, and I think that's big. And we have a recruiting talk for parents during our camp, and I think the big thing that we talk about is you got to go to a camp that fits whatever positive things that you have going on in your baseball career. So if you're just a metric guy and you struggle sometimes in the game, then you can't go to a camp that they're going to play a game. Or if you're, we hear this all the time. Maybe his metrics aren't the best in the world, but he's just a gamer. He loves baseball, and he's phenomenal at playing the game, which at the end of the day is what really matters. You can have great metrics, but if you can't play the game, then it's irrelevant. But if that's you, if you got to be, if you need coaches to see you play a game, you've got to go to where they can see you play a game. And we do that. We actually do all of those. We do a metric evaluation and we play a game. But, pitchers it's a velocity obsessed generation, and we like velocity too. We have guys who throw hard, but at the end of the day, can you get people out? And the only way to see that is in a game setting. There's no way we can tell as a coach in a bullpen setting if you can get hitters out. And so we try to accommodate what our pitching coach wants to see, and he wants to see guys face hitters. So, but again, you got to do your research, and you got to ask people who've been, and ask them about their experience, and find out if it's a good fit for you from a camp standpoint.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Yeah, I think that's big. Your prospect camp, 6 years running, 30% of your roster coming out of the camp. That just speaks volumes right there. So, hey, kind of thank you so much for walking through that, because that's the kind of impact, the kind of knowledge that our core audience and their parents and family, that's what they want to hear. So thank you so much for that, Coach Kilgore. And kind of staying on this recruiting piece just a little bit. I mean, these last couple of years have been just unbelievable. And by that, I mean, 2-3 years ago, we had the COVID experience, and it really created this 6-year ball player. Now we've entered this transfer portal where, probably because of COVID, I mean, there's just thousands of kids that have been in this portal. And even the D1 rule change last year with the contact period changing for the junior year, it's September or August, whenever it is. There's just been a lot of changes here over the last couple of years. Could you maybe just give some words of wisdom, I guess, to maybe some of the parents and to the kids that are kind of going or starting their recruiting process? How do they navigate this and really kind of come out successfully?
Yeah, it's crazy. And, I have a outfielder he went to junior college, and he redshirted his first year because of injury. He played in 20 and got that COVID year back. The next year, NJCAA didn't count that season, so he played that season. So when he came to me, he was in his 4th year of college, and he had used 0 years of eligibility.
That is crazy.
That's a very interesting dynamic. He still has 1 year left. He's not gonna take it with us just because he's taken every possible class that we have already. But it's very interesting. And you look at COVID, and you look at these graduate or these post-grad schools that are popping up, and people are getting an opportunity to go there. And then, like you said, the transfer portal, and it's making this whole recruiting process more competitive. And the best advice I can give is you have to self-promote. You have to get out there. You have to I'm not a big social media person, but if you want to be in the conversation, you have to promote yourself. And, that could be from the various different websites, or just being on your own page, or figuring out. All coaches like different things, and some coaches like video and some don't. And some coaches want to talk to your coach and some don't. But being able to have all those things at your disposal, to be able to have video if a coach requests it, to be able to have contact information if it's requested, you have to have a lot of different avenues to reach a lot of different people. But yeah, it's super competitive, and we're still struggling with how to navigate that too. And we have different areas that we like to recruit. We're not a big transfer portal school, but that doesn't mean that we don't look at it. But that has made this whole thing a lot more competitive. There's a lot of kids in there, but it doesn't mean they're all going somewhere else. And I think that's a tough one. When a kid gets in there and then ends up with nowhere else to go, that one's tough. But I just think they have to, if you really want this thing, if you want to play college baseball, you have to get after it. You have to jump in the competitive pool, and you have to outswim somebody.
Thank you for that as well. And I got to tell you, this evening has just been fantastic. And I'm just so impressed with you and your coaching staff, your program that you've built over the last 11 years, the culture that you have, the winning baseball that you have, the offering that Emmanuel University really provides is actually quite impressive. And I think that, you guys are just absolutely on the right track and have been on the right track for many, many years. And I got to say the access that you kind of gave our core audience into the inner workings of a collegiate baseball program is big. You're going to touch a lot of lives that's going to hear this podcast, and I absolutely appreciate it. But before we hang up, I feel like I should really absolutely ask you about this upcoming season. And how are you guys feeling about the season that Emmanuel University is about to undertake?
Well, we feel really good about it. On paper, it looks good, and the things we're seeing at practice, we still have work to do, but we got a great group of young men. I mean, at the end of the day, there's going to be one team that wins the last game in Cary, North Carolina. And if that's us, we'll celebrate that. But to have a great group of kids that makes it fun to come to work with the hitters, and for other coaches to work with infielders and outfielders and catchers and pitchers and, those things. It's just a great group of guys, and it's a very diverse group of guys. I mean, we have our first kid from Australia this year. We've got kids from California and Washington State and Arizona, and we've had kids from all over, and obviously from Georgia and the surrounding states too. But it's just a great group of young men, and it just makes it fun to come to work. And so, when we're excited about coming to work, it makes them excited to be there, and it's a really good dynamic. But, we've got big hopes for this year, and, every other coach in Conference Carolinas is probably saying the same thing, but we're going to get ready. And on February 1st, we'll strap our cleats on, and we'll see what happens when the rubber meets the road. But so far, so good. We really like this group of guys.
Man, that sounds fantastic. And I got to tell you, I'm wishing you and your program nothing but the best of success. And again, Coach Kilgore, thank you so much for being on with us this evening. We absolutely appreciate it.
I appreciate you, Alan.
Well, thank you. And I think with that, we're going to say good night. Hey, let me ask you something. Are you ready to dominate at the plate this season? Blast Baseball is the #1 hitting improvement solution, trusted by more major league, college, and travel ball teams than any other. The Blast sensor attaches to the knob of any bat, providing real-time feedback with every swing. Metrics are automatically sent to a smartphone app, generating insights that allow you to analyze and improve your hitting like never before. Go to blastmotion.com and enter code NOWD1, and you will save $25 at checkout. Unlock your potential with Blast.